So we live to eat when we should be feeding to live. What does that mean? Every vicious animal. We should be creating habitats and being a part of the habitat. Um, I can eat an apple smoky and it tastes better than a meat one. Would an animal know the difference? Like, really? To morning. 2 days ago, or yesterday morning, I was having a conversation about what animals are suited best for what foods. I had a couple thoughts, and then why would you think that? And I said, I'm just throwing it out there, because it's just what I feel. So then they started. What animals should be eating what? And they just kept going with it. I didn't ask them if why they were thinking it because it was already asked once. I told them what I thought, and then it just started happening, like autopilot, but from different personalities. Everybody had a thought of what should eat what. Now on my Pinterest, I'm seeing a picture of a frog eating like a coin. I told you we can't be, for our survival and longevity, we are feeding the earth and the earth is full. But we're eating the animals. That's an unbalanced scale of your law system. We're not the top of the pyramid. When it comes to king of the castle, you're the dirty rascal, the smallest ones are the biggest. They don't even need to eat us. I have ones that, when they touch my skin, it almost feels cold. It makes, that Dr. Hose thing where it makes your muscles tense. It's kind of like that, but your muscles don't tense. But that's kind of what it feels like. It feels like a muscle impairment or a paralysis of wherever they're touching you. It doesn't hurt unless it's on a sensitive part. Then it hurts a little bit. Or when I say quill, uh, when they used to want to get my attention, it's like they would put down a needle under my foot so I'd step on it, but there would never be anything there. This is back in the beginning days. Um, so then I adapted. They'd poke me between my toes and stuff all the time. Um, so I just adapted that into. I've always loved Amora, um, but I adapted that into creating the fairy tale that Amora was biting me, based off of what they were doing to my feet. I've had the ones that live in my tummy um, come up and try to come out of my mouth while I'm sleeping, but then me wake up and then my throat close up and it scare them. And then them, fuck, man. You ever drinking octopus fucking shit before? Octopus ink? You ever had one spray in your mouth? I have. It's not fucking cool. Fuck did I swear? It choked me. I thought I was gonna die. It wasn't intentional. Different species. Um, but then I have to, like Ellen Watts said, you should never lie to yourself. That's wrong. You have to lie to yourself so many times that you find some truth. One truth in a set of lies. It's a white lie you're telling yourself, and then when you say it publicly, it's just a confusion bomb. But whenever I've confusion bombed something, it's been a lie that I've actually had to tell myself in backwards thought with no conjunction. Um, and then I've had to spread that, uh, infest it into another species so that you're listening to me right now. You're going to think that she's the bad guy right after I told you that he was. Now it's her turn. Attack. She's right there if you can't see her. She did this to me. They'll go read her mind and find out if she's bad. And then they'll come back to me and then they'll insult me. And they will. Once they found out I've lied, oh fuck, I'll get it. I do get it. I get punished too. Every fucking day. But we're to the point of this relationship where, because we've had a relationship for an outstanding amount of time, where when I was talking about my last video about whenever I lie, I have to have a greater outcome than the lie I've told, or confusion bomb. It has to be greater than, not less than. My dream for her is to be on stage being a reptile, dancing while I'm singing, and me jumping over her because she's tiny. And picking her up on my shoulders. She's rid on my shoulders lots of times. I've got a huge relationship with her. She's the only one that's not scared. There's been one male that's came up to me and wrestled me, like we were pushing back with thought waves, but on each other, and he was really strong. But he just kind of came, grabbed my hand, came out of the water. He was freezing cold. It was cold out. It was a full moon, and he came and grabbed my hand, and then we had a little telepathic thing happening. But we were wrestling with each other. And then he just walked away. It was fine and dandy. Different species. Um, um, Reptile-ish, but not reptile. More soft-skinned. Um, but so a confusion bomb is something where I've said that without a background, that you guys, even though an alien ship crash landed, here's an example, then I'll say to myself, wow, Gray, you always look mad because they stole your dead wife. And then a little while later, I'll make the guys that are have one eye, I'll adapt that into being a switched perception, but them doing it to a different species or directly doing it to me is how I did it. They never hurt me. Some things were questionable at the time because I didn't understand what was going on. But because I did so many lies, I did like a cluster bomb of insults, um, based off of how shitty our society is. It was just regurgitation like a snake. Um, our sign of a serpent going up a pole or a healthcare symbol, that is so fucking wrong. Um, one snake has to touch one snake. One snake has to make all the snakes go up, and then frequency rain come down, and then go up, and then touch all the stars, and then them all fall, and then them touch the people, and then it go up to the star people. If it was going to be unanimous, like if you weren't better than or didn't have all the resources in the world and it was shared, that's what would be happening right now. So their symbolization, it's all fucked. It's all broken. I'm trying to create equality between everything. That's been I kept my moral code through my addiction, through my sober time. I've had it my entire life, and I've never lost it, and it's always been my goal. To the point I can't even go to church anymore. It disgusts me. Um, and now we're all on the same goal together. So a confusion bomb is passed like a football until it runs out of resources, and then it can be joked about. Like, to me, to look at what insulted me when I first woke up. I just woke up. I used to be a morning person. I'm getting used to sleeping again. And to see a gray masturbating, it's like walking in on your friend masturbating. It's embarrassing for both of you. When you're talking, having a conversation, and being silly with one another not behind my back while I'm sleeping, but you're within my listening limit or seeing limit. You're in my aura, and you're just having a conversation, and I come in and then I'm butthurt about it because I just woke up. I can choose to let it ruin my whole day or make a harsh decision and then live with it. Or I can sit back and let it circle through. I circle through emotions very fast. So I can sit there and let it coil up, and then I can look at it from different points of view, thus being in different emotions, barricaded by time. So now it doesn't bug me. Bugged me this morning when I first woke up. Imagine if I would have posted that video and insulted them or been harsh and taken a whole bunch of pills or committed suicide from it because I didn't give myself time to process it. I just acted on my first impulse, emotion over intelligence. Now I'm working intelligently over emotions, and I'm able to reiterate it to you better. It's fucking hilarious. Some people don't even think they have a dick. And you didn't actually show, you was a side profile, and he was just fucking convulsing like this. Because that's what I wanted to do. I get it. It's fucking funny. Not when I first wake up. How many times did you honestly wake me up last night? They wake me up by either making me so hard that I can't control it, and then 2 nights ago was the first time they said, please don't go. We need you to keep this and go back to sleep. So I'm like, fine. And then instantly it was a girl from my past, and she wanted to have sex, but I wasn't in control of being able to say no. I had to say yes because this dream was predetermined for me. And then as soon as she went down on me, she said it was disgusting. And then she wanted to have sex anyway, but then I just wouldn't have sex back. And then we just stopped. Um, versus last night, not having all my emotions, but being aware of my standards as a gift. Confusion bombs initially were me using it was used as a fighting technique, a spiritual fighting technique where anybody that can read my mind knows that I'm putting gasoline and mixing it with telephone lines and putting it in a sphere and crushing it with light and putting your spirit in it, trying to fucking boil you. And it slowly adapted into being able to storytell. I call it spicing up the truth. What does that mean? It means adding a little bit of flavor. Like this is a vocal point on my face now. See? That side doesn't have it. This side does. It hurts like fuck. Right now, we could be doing so much good for the outer rim. But the outer rim, I'm still predetermined to leave this place, to die happily somewhere else. And at this point in time, I would wish that I would get scattered all over. They're dangerous animals. And then my leftovers be brought in here just to scatter the remains into the food system. That's how I feel right now in my current emotion. We'll call it Maxwell House coffee because I eat proper. That'd be doing your body good. It's like Mason's brand power. Call me a stonemason for fuck's sakes. But a real one. One that actually speaks his mind. in poverty. Um, I just want the unicorn dolphins to eat my salmon. You know what I mean? And I want to take the ones that you have in nets and release them because they don't even have a home to go home to lay more eggs. They're lost fish. They're just food. Salmons. If I could turn into any animal in the world, I would turn into a male salmon because I know my wife would give her life to find her homestead, to recreate the blessed circle of life she had prior to meeting me. Prior to me, not meeting me, prior to it. And giving her kids that same fighting chance. She would, her life is devoted to that. So if I could pick any animal in the world, I would pick to be a salmon. And then I see what you disgusting fucking piss ants do to them. And it kills me. You feed them bio waste, you feed them feces, you net them, you give them ick, you surround them by an oyster net, and you feed them carcinogens. And that's the animal I want to turn into. I call it one of the royal animals on the planet. Um, I want to hurt you every way I can for letting this happen. They don't even have a home to go to anymore unless they're found, not environmented. When I see the ravine when I was homeless, I wanted to. It was really hard for me to function to the point where making posters to try to get people to clean up the ravine park that is swamp water that they have to go in a tube under the city to get to the ocean that they can't find their way back. They need the stars. They can't. Okay, if you live in a castle, Buckingham Palace, or any building downtown that's spiritual, you'll notice the roofs are green. So, or spiritual people that don't want to be embodied, or that are scared of Halloween, will cover uh, their pod with iron, thinking that it's safe from frequency beings or dimensional beings. We're all a dimension. We all look like a space slug. Like to us, space slugs come to me and I look like a serpent. I look that one-eyed creature I was talking about, it's the exact same as us. That's what we are when we die. We are a space slug with one eye. We're a binaural, um, looking to learn. That's it. Um, and when we find somewhere to learn, and they're also the ones that uh, I can't say for sure. I'm not going to because it's not a fact. But um, so if a fish has to go like at Abbey School where they have the native fishery, they have to go under the city. You know, in Victoria, they just found a big underground city under the buildings with washrooms, probably raping areas. Um, in Abbotsford, they make the pipelines so that the people that want to come take back over the town, they know right where to come up to. Like it goes right underneath the businesses. So they can literally come up under the businesses and take them hostages. It's fucking disgusting. But the salmons have to follow the same pipes. And they're covered with iron, so they can't navigate with the stars. So they can never find their way home. Salmons are supposed to come home to migrate, and they can't do it under pipelines of the city. It's impossible, especially covered with iron. The royals were right. Um, so I wanted to take the ravine, clean it out, skim the lake, give them a fresh mud bed in there, plant vegetation, uh, get it going. Uh, dig out a trench for the Fraser River that gets too much water in it anyway, and give them a proper access home off of a flatland. Um, so that they can come home and breed. And they're not allowed to, so they just go to the ocean and get fished or die. Or they, when I've walked through that underground cave, it's got a rebar grate on it that somebody's cut to go and fuck with businesses underneath it, and it's been open for years. Um, and when you go into it at the beginning, there's a bunch of fish right there. As soon as you go in 20 feet, there's no more fish. And I've walked miles down that thing underground, and there's no fish. There's fish right at the beginning of it, but then there's no more. So who's ever put the money into the fish hatchery hasn't ever walked down that underground pipeline where they find dead bodies in it and shit. Um, Fish can't come back up it. Period. Fish can't waterfall out of a sewer mine and come back up it. It's impossible. They're lost. It's like a bee getting trapped by your cell phone frequency. As soon as it leaves the nest, it's fucking retarded. Mill Lake, Mill Pond. You guys are fucking so stupid. I can't express it enough. That whole block of houses needs to come out between Mill and the ravine. And then it needs to it's like all downhill. I don't know what your fucking problem is. Um, it just needs a couple pools. Like, seriously. You guys are just sick. Um, but it needs to be cleaned out. Their breeding spot should be a paradise. So when they come home, at least after they give birth, they can hang out there for a bit before they die. And when they die, what's going to happen to their body? You know? Have you ever been to areas where after mating season, the whole beach is filled with nothing but dead bodies of fishes? Giant salmons everywhere? I've seen it. Where everywhere you look, there's a dead salmon on the beach. Kilby is one of them. They're fucking huge and they're everywhere. They're just giving back to their environment when they die. Something we don't do, but we're gonna fucking start. And we're not gonna be top of the pyramid anymore. I've never seen it on a totem pole, but we've symbolized it in our actions. As it stands, I'll repeat this one more time. I am going to leave you guys hanging and leave this planet soon and never look back. If you've seen all the alien species out there, I'm welcome to. I've got the boarding pass. I can speak and read their languages. I know you're getting these messages because when it comes to my last night, I was gonna straight up email the military and say, "You guys are fucking retards. Get on it, or I'm gonna fire you." Um, but my Google header of my little bar changed to green plant life around my G, which symbolizes growth, that you're actually looking at it and you're just busy contemplating wiping each other's fucking. Oh no, you wouldn't do that. Taking care of yourselves. What's your best interest? But it's a little bit of growth in the right direction. Me. Um, I could change the world with help to fucking flying vehicles and kill congestion, and every fucking family would put their kids first, and their kids would be going into networking and creating your entertainment, so you can thrive alive. And they would be in charge of our media, and there'd be no more porn. There would be no more. Uh, all the films would be kind of family based, because your kids would be the ones starring in it, and you would be the ones going to set every day to help educate your kids to the way you wanted to be educated, or what your new belief system would be. um, you would be following them. You'd be going back to school until your kid is at least 10 years old, and you'd be traveling the fucking world with them. That would be your job, is taking care of your own kids until they're 10 every day, and then they could go and play on the world, and you know that you raised them, past you mentored them, not somebody else. Nobody diddled your kids. You know what I mean? Nobody hurt their feelings without you being able to express it, or it got turned into a fucking movie. So your kid didn't want to commit suicide or drop out of school or bully or something. You'd be in charge of their fucking life. Not in charge of it. You'd be responsible for it. Responsible for crafting them into bright adults. Um, and you'd get to have the embrightenment of watching their successes develop and have movie time and help the world implode in a good way, creating life and proper media. The ones you don't want your kids, right now, you're probably nervous giving your kids a fucking cell phone because of all the shit that's out there. Um, so, with that said, I'm going to call it a MailChimp. So, to I'm not going to talk about that. This is crucial for the survival of our species. And I don't care if I'm here to help it survive at this point. I do. I really do. So I'm treating you like my child, my father's son, or my brother. Because that's what you are to me. And brothers need to play fight sometimes. We're going to be better people because of this. And you're going to also play fight back with me. I'm ready. I've been practicing because you're bigger and stronger, and you have a big brother gang. So I'm going to have to prey on them, target them, defeat them, and then come to you next. And I know you've been practicing. You've spent your whole life practicing just to fight with me. And you've been wanting this because you crave blood. So I'm ready. I know you're ready. Bring your guns and your ammo because I'm going to destroy them. I'm going to make bridges out of them. And my brothers, your step family, um, they have guns too, but they don't need them. You have to be invited into their homes. Otherwise, you better wear garlic on your neck and carry a lot of salt. And maybe get a silver fucking spike for their hearts. And you will always be unwelcome. I'm chosen for a reason. And I have a hard time giving myself any compliments at all. But I'm actually chosen for this. And I'm honored to be. And I don't really have a hard time saying it now because I know I am. When they talk, as much of a roller coaster ride it is, they give me the mental reprieve of saying, I can't believe he's not one of us. And that makes me feel really fucking good. The girls always pick me up. That makes me feel really fucking good. They want to see me succeed. That makes me feel really good. They want to see me relationship. That makes me feel really good. They give me a hard time. That makes me feel good when I give them a hard time. They're reinforcing their gestures with artwork. It makes me feel good they're creative. and they can sing and dance. We play kid games like Ring Around the Rosie and shit, and then the other ones that watch can't believe what they're seeing, for fuck's sakes. When we play Red Rover and shit. And we're actually playing it. It's not just a verbalized thing. Like the adults, the parents, they're watching their kids do things with a human that no kid's ever done with a human. Ever. Ever. Because typically they wouldn't play in groups and shit like that. You know what I mean? And they do. And it's fucking amazing. Um, I just want your kids to be able to do the same thing with everyone. Everything. I want your kids to know what every animal on this planet looks like as an oid and what its personalities are like. Have you ever played leapfrog with a human frog before? Comprende? My goal is to bring our resources together with theirs and share seeds, share plants, share animals, share joy, share traits, share instincts, share adventures, share opportunity, share stories, share dreams, share inspirations, share dignities, share failures, share inspirations, share enigmas, share technology, share media, share resources, share everything that has made you who you are up to this point in your growth, and also goal on things that no species have ever came together collectively for to embrace. There is minorities of four groups, or of groups working in groups of four, waiting for a human bred in its own species and survived to bring us together, to be able to bring three, I'll call it a subhumans, three species plus a subhuman, one that was raised with as their kid. Um, but for me to be one that's been raised by humans through their struggles and defects and defaults and all that shit, and to bring us our society into the mix, to instead of make it a group of four, into a group of a mandala of interactions and of cooperation, of instead of having retreats for vacations, like actually being able to be welcomed to their homes, um, and stay there comfortably without prejudice or being scared, like you would open your door to them. Every person alive wants there to be something different than them out there, and there's tons of them. I'm just the one that's gonna vocalize this and have the confidence to say that it can be done right now. Anytime you're ready. Um, as much as I want to leave this shithole, I want to help it grow, and I want to come back to it to watch its development and bring an army to help, so that way we can go there. You would personally feel more comfortable adapting in your home than theirs. unless you were a kid. So let me work with your insecurities and let me allow them to integrate so we can integrate. This is a we thing. My heart is where my home is. I don't really have a home other than this planet. And I just want to molecule a little bit better, heat up and shoot off to another one, and spread oats and plant seeds there too. You know? I would love to have family members that are, I already do, but I would love to show the world my wife's brothers and sisters from outside of our galaxy and inside of it. And I would be honored to be the one leading us into a new, leading us. We would happy to be the ones leading us to lift you up, to watch you lead us, to lift them up, to watch them lead us. So that way we can watch the media your kids have created on how they're making a difference. Because all we want to do is start the ball rolling. We're exhausted. This has been exhausting. Fucking exhausting. Traumatizing and exhausting. You know how I always insult you and call you fags and all that hurtful stuff? As much as I hurt you, I would love to hear your stories of your good dreams and your aspirations and your growth after your defeat. You're defeated. Now it's time to grow, and we've got the right ingredients to water you. And the amount of excellence that it would be just to sit back with all the knowledge that we've already offered for free, to watch you run with it would make my last 400,000, my last half of my life, be fucking amazing. And make this actually feel worthwhile in my lifetime. Our lifetimes. Sorry, I went to church. I'm still saying my, and I never mean it. I hate that word. It would be one of the first words that I would never teach my kid. The only I would be I-Y-E. That's the only I that would be allowed in the language. I would rewrite the English language. And I would be mixing it with every language instantly. There's so many small things I would change. So many. Everybody would be an Indiglo, bilingual, learning from your kids, however the fuck you're gonna learn them. And then I said I again. You'd be learning bilingual shit in your sleep. Leveling up every time you go to bed. But you can't unless you stop pulling the trigger. And just be a doing. Just everything unknown causes your brain to think fear because you don't know the unknown. We are the unknown. And there's nothing to be scared of. Period. The only thing that's scary is not knowing, not the unknown, the not knowing. And it's knowing. And and it's easily able to be shared, and every response mechanism to relay a positive triggered event for your embrace of stimulant in any feng shui you're working. If you need a praise, you will get it back in a praise by the way you tell the story, or the way you tell your wife about your day, or you teach your kid how to throw a baseball. Um, and why you decide to throw a baseball, um, not in a straight line with your kid anymore, but by bouncing it just to listen to the slap on the wall so you can hear the voice in it. Or every time you eat something crunchy, you can hear somebody talk. Every time. Well, not every time, but you get what I mean. It's a matter of thinking. Unprejudiced. We'll call it teaching you while you sleep because you're only using 10% of your brain. So why not share the other 90% of it to brighten you some more? If you're only using 10%, can you share the other 90? If you think if there's a mesh, if a mushroom can mesh and a spider web can mesh, and if we can tether our 90% together with other species, and this is pretend now, this is playtime. I call it playtime. If there's a species that derives its thoughts between a network of neurals to create new pathways that have never been struck before, and the only thing stopping it is you from being afraid to connect onto a superhighway of quintessence. But if you could see yourself of the future, I came up with this thing once. I did for a song. Manifest quintessence to see future self. You're all a great leader. Believe in yourself. It's going to be a chorus of a song one day, and it would change every verse. Manifest quintessence to see future self. We're great leaders. Believe in ourselves. That kind of thing. Um, if you only gave yourself a chance to let we take over for a bit, um, to show you everything that you've banished and forgot, to raise your spiritual vibration of your body, to interact with soul, um, and crystallize it everywhere. Make gems out of it. Uh, you once would think of something as non-existent or magic could be the thing that would change the fabric of your entire existence through Olive Heimer. You know what I mean? We could change that. You're just in your own way. It's not your fault. You think of how good back in the day, you could buy a house for $16,000. You could work and you could support a whole family. Nowadays, you're pretty much fucked unless you're waiting for an inheritance. You need somebody to die so you can get a break. Um, and since you took out the bell, and you've been trained from birth to be insulted and to be obedient, to caress somebody else's fucking stature. You've been slaved since birth, but if you look at that how it's negatively affected society versus the time period that we've come out of an industrial or Great Depression and how much we fucked this planet for everything in 100 years. How bad it's gotten in 100 years based off of these old circumstances still not being stopped. And you're gonna die and give that to your kid for an inheritance? A shitty way of life. When we could change it right now. And change everything. For everything. Everything's everything. Since 1903, we have fucked this shit up. It's fucked. There's only one way not to turn back at this point. The bell was tampered with a long time ago, and it's been getting tampered with worse, up to smashing the moon with a fucking nuke. And there's people that live there. It's fucking disgusting. And you guys just won't stop. You guys have metal you can put in water and blow up water, for fuck's sakes. Like, when do you stop? Everything you do is damaging to something. And all I want to do is give everything an environment. Everything. One that it can be happy in. Every single thing. Everyone's everything. All at once. And fast. Like, I want people to notice a difference, like, fast. That's why I'm gonna make myself naked. Make myself unprivated. Be public. Humiliate myself instead of you. And say, don't stop watching. Until more people, or more peoples, or more things start being comfortable with a camera and anomalies start happening. Like, if I'm always on camera, shit will start happening around me. People will start coming. Visitors will start coming. Trees will start dancing. Dry areas will get rain. Hemispheres will change. The worlds will unite. And the dark will bright. So fast. And all you have to do is, you don't have to be afraid of change. You just have to watch until people you trust start joining and follow them. It's that easy. By then, you will have learned enough to feel comfortable and confident to join and to lead and to do whatever. And until that happens, I want you to join the rest of the communities and make fun of me. I'd be honored. Call me a head, call me a fag, call me whatever you want. Get your paintball guns out. Put your fucking camo on. Call me jail me. Just don't stop recording me. Just do whatever it takes to keep me public and not stop it. And you'll see magic more than anything ever has ever created it. Because to them, we're magic. So to them, we need to create too, not just kill. I need another cup of coffee, and I've spoken too much. I feel like I could go on forever right now, but it's not fair. I don't like to watch long things. If it's a bath is about 45 minutes, and so is a gym. So you guys have already fucking heard too much. Your attention span's garbage. you don't have a big head. And you only use 10% of your brains. Maybe show this to a dolphin. Maybe we'll get somewhere faster. Till then, hopefully your couch gets fucked because you're probably not going to. Catch you later.